taken out of context.
Taken out of context.
Taking things out of context.
Out of context.
Taken out of context.
Taken out of context.
Out of context.
Taken out of context.
That is so out of context.
And take shit out of context.
Out of context.
No, hey, hold on. So we're gonna flesh this out because I don't want nobody saying we don't take things in context.
The full context.
In a modern day context.
Tell me the context.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Straight Out of Context. I am Barbara Ann. Fair use disclaimer.
Taylor Swift and her security team are remaining, quote, hyper-vigilant, trying to keep the pop star safe after a stalker for whom she was granted a restraining order has apparently completely disappeared. Now, back in June, Taylor was granted a temporary restraining order against Brian Jason Wagner, a 45-year-old ex-convict who showed up to her house at least on 3 separate occasions, including one time where he was carrying a glass bottle that she felt he was going to use as a weapon. He also claims that Taylor Swift is the mother of his child, which, sir, I don't think you understand how childbirth works. And perhaps most creepily of all, he successfully changed his address on his license to match Taylor Swift's house. He tried forwarding all of his mail to her, and his official address on an actual government document was Taylor Swift's house. Absolutely fucking crazy. Now, after that temporary restraining order in June, on Monday, she was granted a 5-year ban where Brian Wagner is no longer allowed to be within 100 yards of her. He cannot contact her in person, by letter, or digitally, and there's also a ban on him owning any sort of firearms or body armor or any sort of weapon. But the latest wrinkle after being granted this restraining order is that nobody can find him. Wagner has completely disappeared off the map despite the fact that Taylor hired a private investigator, Brooke Berg, to track him down. She was doing stakeouts outside his house, she's been trying to keep tabs on him, and all of a sudden he's just gone off the grid. Couple all of that with the Charlie Kirk assassination, and Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce have been taking extra steps to make sure they stay safe. That's why we saw Taylor walk out behind that bulletproof wall when she was attending the Chiefs game last week.
Defensive line, but a football advancement by the Eagles just beyond the Kansas City 20. No score, 1:43 to go first quarter. They're going with a tempo.
Yeah, they got these long sides.
Team guy on the field. They're still at the 13-yard line. They stay double tight end here. Motion behind.
Now, some people speculated this wall was because she was pregnant and trying to hide it, or that she was being a diva. Nope, turns out that she's got a 45-year-old ex-convict psychopath on the loose that nobody can find, that she's worried he's gonna try to kill her. What a weird situation for Taylor Swift. When you're in the spot, all you want is for your stalker to be gone and not in your life at all. But then the minute that your stalker is gone, now you gotta worry. It's like when you find a spider in your bedroom and then you take your eye off it and it's gone. It's like, well, now I gotta move. Now I gotta leave because this thing's gonna crawl in my mouth at night. It's just like that, except a lot more dangerous. Me personally, I want to live in a world where Taylor's stalker is missing because Taylor's security team took care of Taylor's stalker, you know? And by security team, I hope it's Travis and Jason Kelce. Like, I hope Taylor Swift's like, guys, have you heard about this stalker? He changed his address to mine on his license, and now he's disappeared, and we can't find him. And Jason and Travis are like, we have heard about this unfortunate incident. I don't think you need to worry about it any longer, as we believe he has been permanently relocated. Brian Jason Wagner, what a piece of shit. And by the way, how about we tighten up some of these stalking laws? The fact that these people are just allowed to walk around and do whatever they want, all you can do is slap like a sort of restraining order that's not even enforceable. No, throw that guy in jail. No good can come from that guy being free.
Did you know that Taylor Swift was severely stalked by multiple people who would hide and wait for her in her home or carry around backpacks full of weapons and tools to harm her? I'm going to share the 4 creepiest ones that will make your skin crawl. This stalker, Roger Alvarado, he broke into her house, used her bathroom to shower, and then slept on her bed and was waiting for her to come home. He used a ladder to climb to the back of her building and then used a concrete block to smash through the glass. The absolutely most insane part is that he spent 6 months in jail, and when he got out, he did it again. This is David Little, and he was found very close to Taylor's apartment. He had a backpack on him with a crowbar, an aluminum baseball bat, lockpicks, and rubber gloves. The most horrifying thing about his case is that it was just simply dismissed. This is Eric Swarbrick. He drove from Texas to Tennessee on 3 separate occasions to deliver over 40 death threats to Taylor. A lot of his threats used the R word and the threat to unalive her. One specifically said, "I will not hesitate to kill her, and there's nothing that you or your lawyers or the law can do about it." Ooh. He said that he believed that Taylor was reaching out to him because he had over 100 dreams about her. He would log all of these dreams into a notebook, and after he did that, he believed that he had waited long enough to finally claim her, his words. He was sentenced to 30 months in prison. Then just recently we have Joshua Christian. I also hate that they use her exact address in the media. It feels so hypocritical to the point of all this. I'm gonna cross it out. So the first time he stalked her in person was in March. He went in through an unlocked door and remained there. When he was found out, he fled on foot. There was a full order of protection put on him. But of course, that didn't do anything. He stalked her again and attempted communicating with people in her home through the intercom. He said, "You're dead now, you're holding her prisoner and I need to set her free." He has since been arraigned, and apparently he had a complete mental breakdown during it. He was freaking out about who his lawyer was and said that there hasn't been this much of an injustice since the crucifixion of Jesus Christ himself. They're seeking mental help for him. If I was her, I would never be able to be alone ever again. Follow me if you're into hearing about stuff like this in pop culture.
So someone sent me this and asked if I can hear Blake Lively in the audience.
And some grapes. You know, it's just some grapes. Oh, I
Let's listen.
Do your bread. Can you be my bread? Can my bread be in the music video? Yes. Come on, that would be fun. Your bread? Oh, she's so proud of her bread.
That sounds like Blake to me. Does it sound like her to you guys? There's more. Wait for it. This is so bizarre. Someone sent me this.
Oh my gosh. This is a really exciting day for me as a baker because my bread is actually like a video star.
Hold on.
I did it! It's over there. I've had to adjust it several times just to make sure it's perfect and line up with his lines. She's so serious. Oh my god.
That kind of sounds like Blake, right? What do you guys think? Apparently the same video is on YouTube, but the voice of the Blake is gone.
Can you be my bread? Can my bread be in the music video? Yes. Come on, that would be fun. Your bread? Can you be my bread? Can my bread be in the music video? Yes. Come on, that would be fun. Your bread?
Everything Taylor Swift does is beyond. That even includes the number of stalkers she's had and a number of times that she's been victimized.
Where is home for you now?
It's a very good question. I try not to ever really say where I am the most because since all my addresses are on the internet, people tend to show up uninvited. Like, you know, dudes that think we have an imaginary marriage.
Sweetheart, we're getting married. You're first lady.
Taylor Swift has had at least 15 alleged stalkers over the years. And a man named Mitch Tabell was one of them.
I proposed to Taylor Swift, everybody. She's gonna say yes. I'm getting married. She's my soulmate.
Tabell was arrested last June for showing up at her Nashville home and making a series of threats. He was ordered to seek mental health treatment.
Another stalker named Morgan Mank crashed his car in the Swift's New York apartment building in 2022, then tore off the intercom when he couldn't get inside. DailyMail.com tracked him down afterwards.
Why are you stalking Taylor Swift? You were, weren't you? The other way around. She's stalking you. Yes.
Fans started noticing that these videos looked very AI. So there's a finger that goes through a napkin, a hanger is there and then that disappears. There's a treadmill, but all the letters are gibberish. This is from an artist who has fiercely advocated for artists' rights. This is also from a billionaire who can afford to pay real artists. Now, the closer I look, the more I think that people are missing a very key piece of the puzzle here. But before we get to that, what do you guys make of this use of AI? Do you think that it's us all being a little bit hysterical, or do you think it's a real misstep?
No, I think it's a real misstep. This use of AI is disappointing from somebody who has, as you've both pointed out, been very stridently defensive of artists who can afford to pay proper people to put their videos together. That is all valid criticism, but where it often ends up is silly, selfish billionaire. You know what I mean? And that's kind of disappointing.
I reckon Taylor Swift is so pissed off.
So you don't think she had any control
The closer I look at this, the more I think she had nothing to do with it. It was released by Google. I can see a world in which this was pitched. They went, we're going to have doors and we're going to have this and we're going to have Easter eggs, and Taylor's team has thought, okay, that's fine. But the fact that this hasn't been shared by Taylor Nation, which is her official kind of what they share on Instagram, it's been taken off the YouTube channels since it went up, suggests to me that she is trying to distance herself.
You even serious? What? Look at her. Oh my god. I'm so happy. Oh my god.
She looks so good.
Finally. What?
I love it so much.
No, but actually imagine wearing a $36,000 dress to Bestie's wedding. Like, because that's what Taylor Swift did. That's what Taylor Swift did. We know she loves Oscar de la Renta. And honestly, this dress is fab. Although I would have picked a different color for her, but it's fab. Honestly, she probably got sent it, but she looks fabulous. I hope we get more photos eventually. Maybe at some point, but a girl can dream.
You will never believe how Taylor Swift showed up at Selena Gomez's wedding. Taylor didn't just fly into Santa Barbara where Selena is getting married to Benny Blanco this weekend. She literally snuck in. She got off the plane in Santa Barbara and snuck behind black umbrellas. Remember, she just snuck in the Chiefs game like last week behind a curtain, and now she's sneaking into a wedding. Also, she didn't stay at the hotel that Selena Gomez rented for all of the wedding guests, like Steve Martin, Martin Short. She chose to stay at a different location, supposedly for more added extra security. Apparently, the guy who's been stalking her, they've lost contact with. They don't know where he is, and she's bumping up her security because of that and because of other threats. Do you ever wonder, like, doesn't Taylor want to be a normal person and hang out with everyone and not have to hide behind umbrellas? Also, like, do the bodyguards follow her around the entire wedding? She has to have like full Secret Service operation just to show up at her friend's private wedding in Santa Barbara. She's like America's biggest pop star. She's like more important than the president and the security that she has and the way she travels at this point. If you were Taylor, would you go through that, or would you just show up like a regular person? Let me know what you think in the comments.
I'm gonna say Selena Gomez is true, that you were at Selena Gomez's wedding, you joked, hey, you beat me to the altar.
It's false.
What is the rules? Wait, what are the rules of the game? The game is not, it's false. The game is, it is, what is the game called?
I don't know.
Sorry, that's false?
Yeah.
So you never said
false.
that?
Well, I got to see her be the most elegant, gorgeous, not only bride, but just vision that I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen anything so beautiful as her on her wedding day. I
love her.
And she deserves
and Benny.
All of his happiness. Benny is him.
The best.
He is so funny.
He's the best.
He's the best. So I did make a speech, but I actually made a point not to mention anything about my engagement. Nobody wants you to be like, hey, I know this is your wedding day, but like, you know, like I was like, don't
it's not
mention
about
it. Like,
you.
maybe turn it around. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yep, this is her day.
I did do some light teasing about the way that we used to dress in 2008, the year that we met. Because we met when we were teenagers in 2008. It was quite a year. Let me tell you, it was the year of deep, deep V-necks.
Was it deep?
I just go into
Very deep.
I just go into like
Very deep,
the Gilded Age.
Deep. Oh,
I love the Gilded Age.
Me too, the Gilded Age.
Get me started.
Don't even.
Carrie Coon's character. It was the year of aggressively colorful skinny jeans. Everyone was walking around saying things were amazeballs. Mrs. Astor hated it.
Oh my God, that nailed it right there.
So basically, Selena used to, like, her favorite outfit back then was like a very long tank top, skinny jeans.
They know it.
But like a tiny little vest. Like the smallest vest, and Chucks. And that was her, like, uniform of that year. And mine was that I just always looked like I was, like, late for the cowboy-themed junior prom. And so I talked a little bit about 2008. I talked about, you know, how happy I am for her and how just beautiful it's been to get to be a part of her life. But I did not make it about me.
Okay, good. All right, then I'm going to have my second guess here. And I'm going to say, I think it'd be funny if Ed Sheeran learned about your engagement on Instagram.
That's so true.
Oh, no!
I have a perfect explanation.
Oh, no!
He doesn't have a phone. He doesn't have a phone.
Didn't he write a whole album about an old phone that he had or something?
But he doesn't have one that works.
Yeah, it's true. That is true.
So he doesn't have a phone, and this is like one thing I love about him. It's very eccentric. Love it. But when I'm going through being like, hey, like, you know, hey, who
all
should
my
we
peeps.
call? Who should we FaceTime? I'm going through my texts and being like, who have I texted within the last like month of my life? And he just wasn't there because you have to like,
How do you get a hold of him? The bat signal?
You have to email him, and then if you want to set up a FaceTime, he has to find an iPad. They have to give it to him like he's a child that they give the iPad to.
Yes, and he watches an episode of Bluey, and then...
This is one of my absolute favorite people on the planet. And
I know, that's why I didn't guess
that. And then when the news came out, I was like, oh my God, we forgot to call Ed. Oh, no.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, he's like family. Like,
of course.
I love him, but he doesn't have a phone.
Selena Gomez and Benny Bianco's wedding this weekend was the biggest event of the holiday season, and everyone who attended was promised to be there. Taylor Swift is Selena Gomez's best friend, and she was there to share in the joy with her friend. According to a report by Page 6, the official hotel for many of the wedding guests was the luxurious El Encanto Resort in Santa Barbara. Swift looked wedding-worthy in a pale blue lace ermine gown, with a tight bodice and an asymmetrical hemline. Paired with her signature red lip and sparkling sandals, it was the perfect outfit to wear to your best friend's wedding. Selena Gomez and Taylor Swift aren't just famous celebrities, they also have a deep friendship that has weathered the storms of fame and personal challenges. Both are icons in the music industry and have faced their own struggles, from personal relationships to mental health issues. Their relationship represents a supportive sisterhood that many fans can relate to. The wedding is expected to be private, with close friends and family in attendance. With Gomez recently focusing on her personal life and mental health, the event is likely to be a celebration of love and friendship. It is also a moment for Gomez to embark on a new chapter, one filled with happiness and commitment. Taylor Swift and Selena Gomez have been friends for over a decade, and their friendship has been frequently mentioned in the media. They have supported each other through many life events, including career milestones and personal struggles. Swift has repeatedly expressed her admiration for Gomez, often praising her resilience and talent. Their friendship is also an inspiration to many, demonstrating the power of female unity in the entertainment industry. Swift and Gomez often share cute moments on social media, showing fans the sincere connection between them.
Lately, there's been a lot of discussion about when two songs have similar melodies. There's only 12 notes in a scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So when you're writing a new song, there are bound to be similarities to an older song. But what you have is what I like to call the 4-note threshold. Let's say, for example, that these are 4 notes of a song that already exists. And these notes here in blue are the notes to your brand new song. If your brand new blue song has the first 4 notes as the red song, that's fine. But if the old song also has an A, and your song also has an A, you're now getting into interpolation territory. Take this Fifth Harmony song, for example. I know you're always on that night shift. And listen to this Haley Steinfeld song, which has a similar-ish melody. You know some days you feel so good in your own skin. You know some days you feel so... As you can see, the first note's the same, second note's the same, third note's the same, fourth note's the same, but then the Haley Steinfeld song goes somewhere different. So in this case, no interpolation. But let's look at that Fifth Harmony song one more time. And you listen to this Daniel Bedingfield song. As you can see, the notes are pretty much the same here, 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 here. That means we're over the 4-note limit, so the Fifth Harmony song interpolates the Daniel Bedingfield song. In red is an old song called Wait a Minute, Mr. Postman. Oh, yes, wait a minute, Mr. Postman. and in blue is the Portugal the Man song. As you can see, blue takes way more than 4 notes. It takes all of the notes. So in that case, interpolation. If I could just take a moment and say this, sometimes artists will accidentally interpolate each other, and it's almost never done maliciously. We have to really stop demonizing this when it happens. Interpolations and sampling, this stuff has been going on for a really long time, and some great music has come about because of it. Also, I've been talking about a lot of other people's music for a long time. I think it's time I put my own music out. I'll see you back here tomorrow.
All right, I got tired of reading comments about like she stole these people's music and she's not crediting them and what a hypocrite and all that. And she's certainly not perfect, but she's also not dumb. And she has incredible lawyers. So I decided to look up interpolation in copyright law just to make sure that I understood it. So let me tell you what that is. So, as I may have said on here before, but I train people all the time on, copyrights attached to different parts of songs, right? So when you write the melody of a song, there's a copyright for the melody. When you write the lyrics, there's a copyright for the lyrics. And then when you record it, there's a copyright on the recording. So copyrights attached to each piece, and then ultimately there are master recordings and a copyright attaches to those. When you sample a piece of music, that means that you are using part of an original recording. So you have to get the permission, you have to get the license from whoever owns the recording, which I think in most cases is going to be record companies, right? That was Taylor's whole beef with the Scooter Braun thing, was they sold her recordings. But because she still owned the melodies and the lyrics and the composition of her songs, that's why she could re-record them. So an interpolation is not a sample because you're not using a previously existing recording. You are using a part of the composition. You are using a part of the melody. So the only person or people that you have to get permission from to do an interpolation for the original song is whoever holds the copyright for the composition of the melody itself. So you don't have to go to the recording artist. You don't have to go to the record company. You just have to go to the person who is the writer of the song, because the writer, the person who wrote the actual music and melodies for the song, owns the copyright. So like it wouldn't be hard then if some of these artists who wrote their own songs had credits for the composition for the melodies, that she could just call them up and be like, hey, I'm going to use some of your song. Like I looked up Cool by the Jonas Brothers, which is one, and the songwriters are listed as Nick, Joe, Kevin, Casey Smith, Ryan Tedder, and Zach Skelton. So she doesn't have to go to a record company and say, I'm going to pay a license fee, and they're going to, of course, charge her out the ass to use this music, because she's not using the recorded music. She's using the music on the music sheet, and the people who put the music on the music sheet are the ones who can give her the permission. Like the Pixies song, Where Is My Mind, which Fight Club is also one of my favorite movies of all time, was written by Black Francis when he was at UMass Amherst, actually, inspired by his experiences scuba diving in the Caribbean. So even if some record company owns the masters, Black Francis owns the copyright to the composition and could give that to Taylor Swift without some big transaction going on. So the only question then is, why give credit on the father figure song and not any of the others? And the options I can think of are, number one, there is something different about that one than all the others, which is she uses the same title. She calls it Father Figure, and Father Figure is the name of a song. So she's not just using those melodies, she's using the name and kind of the theme of the song. So maybe because that's more closely aligned with the original, she felt that she should give credit for that, or because out of respect for his estate or something like that. And then I guess the other explanation is she's just a rich bitch who doesn't care about anybody, and all that stuff she said for years and years about artists owning their music, and all the fights that she had with Apple and Scooter Braun and Borchetta and all that stuff didn't really mean anything, which I'm sure some people will believe. I just find less plausible. So for what it's worth, the copyright law of it does kind of make sense. Also, it's like 10:45 and I'm just finding out about the fucking orange doors. Like, I have a job to go to tomorrow. I can't stay up all night watching orange door videos. But, you know, if somebody figures that out, will you tell me where to go and look at it? Because it seems like there's something else happening. And maybe it's the Eras Tour documentary. Maybe it's, I don't know. But I've run out of steam, so hopefully I'll wake up tomorrow morning and we'll know what that is.
Gaylor take that no one asked for, but you know what? I'm a Gaylor, so here you got my thoughts. The thoughts are about the lyrics. I pledge allegiance to your hands, your team, your vibe. All right, first of all, let's just start out with the obvious. We should not be pledging allegiance to anyone or anything. I never pledged allegiance in my life. I don't plan on starting today. We got that out of the way. Okay, back to the song. You expect me to believe that Taylor Swift, the most prolific writer of love songs, okay? This woman who writes song after song, poetic, beautiful songs about being in love, finally meets the man of her dreams, the lover to end all lovers, the one she's gonna lock it up with. And these are the songs that she writes. I'm sorry, that is very strange to me. These are not romantic songs. Okay, now let's look at the lyrics. You are telling me, first of all, I'm a straight woman. I have never been with a woman. I've only been with men, okay? So just keep that in mind as we dig into these lyrics. You expect me to believe that the lyric, I pledge allegiance to your hand, now, or hands, plural. I have a husband. I have never thought of his hands as the thing that I would ever think of as the thing that saved me. His hands? But I can imagine, if I liked women, that the hands would come into play. I pledge allegiance to your team. Now you're telling me that Taylor Swift is pledging allegiance to the Kansas City Chiefs? I think not. It's psychotic. I would be psychotic if I pledged allegiance to my husband's high school baseball team. I don't even know if he played baseball. I don't think he did. But there's another kind of team you play for. And then I pledge allegiance to the vibes. And I'll just leave that one right there because it's so easy. Anyone?
Onyx and Opalite, I'm not a bad bitch. This isn't savage. These are the lyrics that we've decided make Taylor Swift an alt-right racist. I'd argue naturally associating the word savage with a black woman is pretty motherfucking racist. I'm sorry, but you lunatics don't get to decide. You can't convict someone based on how you interpret metaphors. First of all, Elizabeth Taylor is a bop, okay? And when you hoes are screaming it at the top of your lungs at some bar next summer, I will remember, and I shall remind you. What I am sure of is she has affirmed the fact that she's a liberal woman so many times. She doesn't have to say it anymore. How many blue candidates does she have to endorse? Do you know how many young liberal women she's registered to vote? Way more than you, bitch. Way more than you with your little fucking think piece. Also, not liking this album doesn't automatically make you particularly smart. Being a pop music contrarian doesn't make you interesting. The day I let a white lady tell me what metaphors and what songs I should be offended by is a cold day in motherfucking hell.
Why does it look different? Why does it look different? What is going on? What is going on? This is how it's supposed to look. Why does it look like this? And look, this could be nothing. This could be absolutely nothing. It almost looks like it's on fire. It's as close as I can get, zoomed in. But what is this? What is this? I am sure that there is the most basic, dumb explanation for this. I'm not saying this is an Easter egg for anything, but what if it is? What if it is? The tale as old as time, the question that never gets old. This is on TikTok, FYI. This is on IG, so do with that what you will.
Get it now! Taylor Swift launches Target exclusive vinyl of her new album, Life of a Showgirl. Imagine an ice-cold Diet Coke and salty fries, only at McDonald's. Drive to Target. Drop into HomeGoods and save, save, save. What's on your kids' list this holiday season? Don't raid your closet. Raid TJ Maxx for your fall fit check. Drive to Target. Get it now. Get it now. Get it now. Don't raid your closet. Ice cold Diet Coke. Ice, ice, ice. Drop into HomeGoods. 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 Good home. Good home. Good home. Ice dropped into good homes. Get it now. Imagine, imagine, imagine. Your kids. Drive to Target. Don't raid, raid, raid. Imagine. Your kids. Ice dropping into raid your good home. Your good kids. Ice dropping into raid your good home. Good home. Good kids. Good kids. Drive to Target. And look, there's no way to sneaky hide the keyword zip ties. It's absurd. So I'm just gonna tell you. Imagine it's your life. Imagine it's your kids. Zip tied. Imagine it's your kids. You can't save, save, save. Get it now? Drive to Target. You're the target.
So I've yet to hear anyone review The Life of a Showgirl in the way that I want to review it. So I want to take a stab at it. I did not like this album, and it's not for the reasons that you think. To me, I do not count this as a Taylor Swift album, and I think that that's going to be a hot take. I was in middle school when the Red album came out, and I remember hearing All Too Well and just sobbing. I had never heard a song like that before in my life. I did not know music could like make me feel that way. And since then, it's hard for me to listen to other artists because there's no one who quite writes like Taylor Swift does. There's no one who encapsulates the feeling of unrequited love or being an outsider or having so many emotions or just not winning or not getting the thing that you love or want or just trying so hard and coming up short and essentially being a woman. I've never heard anyone capture that feeling like she does. And I'll take it a step further to say she doesn't only do that with her own life, she brings in other women who feel similarly from the past. Sylvia Plath, Clara Bow. I am a fan is not, there's no word to describe my love for this artist's work. So I want to start off by saying that. I want to start this review by talking about the Tortured Poets Department. When the Tortured Poets Department came out, this was the only album I listened to for probably 6 months. I've never heard a more honest album lyrically, and I can't believe that we get to we just get to have this. I think she'd even said this is my most honest album to date. So that established, right? She releases that. Then we go to the Grammys. At the Grammys, I watch this artist who has put out her most honest body of work to date, lose every award to, I believe it was Sabrina Carpenter. I'm a Sabrina Carpenter fan. This isn't a Sabrina Carpenter bash video, but I don't believe in any world Sabrina Carpenter's music is at all comparable to Taylor Swift's, especially the Tortured Poets Department album. So we have this young woman, younger than Taylor, winning all of these awards for an album that it could be considered, just objectively more sexually suggestive. I think Sabrina's hilarious. I love her style of writing, but her style of writing works for her. We have that. We also have that coupled with Taylor Swift going on record in the past and expressing concerns in little ways about aging as a woman in this industry, staying relevant as an aging woman in this industry. If you need an example, go and listen to Nothing New. I think it's, how can a person know everything at 18 and nothing at 22? Will you still want me when I'm nothing new? So take that. Tortured Poets Department comes out. No, it doesn't get good get the best reviews. It doesn't win awards. Then you have these younger women wanting to learn from her, you know, of course, but also starting to win these awards, starting to establish themselves more in this industry. I think that The Life of a Showgirl was a panic album. I think it was a little bit of an identity crisis album. None of these songs sound remotely like her. And I remember seeing an interview that Taylor Swift did years ago where she said, I know I'm not sexy. I'm creative. I'm insightful. I'm intelligent. I'm a poet. I'm not trying to be something that I'm not. Her gift is in her storytelling, in her lyricism, in her ability to make young girls who feel on the outside like they're seen, like someone else is also experiencing what they're experiencing. I want to talk about the glitter gel pen narrative that people are painting. If you're not a Taylor Swift fan, she has this thing where she says, you know, some albums are glitter gel, some are written by a quill, like some are more serious than others. People are making the argument that this is a glitter gel pen album. Lover was a glitter gel pen album, and even in Lover, you had Cornelia Street, you had The Archer, even Miss Americana and The Heartbreak Prince was beautiful. You have these songs mixed in where she's saying, no, even though I'm in love, I'm still isolated in my mind. How do I not lose you? How do I not lose friendships? She's still being authentically her, even in her more fun albums. This album, I saw none of that. I see it as she was trying to... This is a Sabrina Carpenter album to me. I will say I think that Father Figure is the song on the album I do love, but it's because I can hear her in it. And she says, I pay the check before it touches the mahogany grain. That's Taylor Swift. The other songs, I genuinely don't know, and it kills me. And I think it's just a shame, and I think a lot of people missed the last album and wrote it off too quickly as songs that sound the same, instead of a collection of just someone pouring out genuine heartbreak and tying it into other historical female figures who experienced, you know, what is perceived similar feelings. I think it was a real listener. I think it was a think piece, and I don't think we thought enough about it. And I think that as a result, now we have this piece where we don't have to really think at all. It's not her. I think it's a panic album, and that's okay. It doesn't feel authentic to me, and unfortunately we have created a situation where it is difficult for women to age in the industry. It is difficult for women to be honest and just put out a body of work that they love and they're proud of, and, you know, have the response of, all right, well, we thought these all sounded the same, and we're not going to reward this. We're going to reward Sabrina Carpenter. And again, that's not me bashing her up. I loved Short and Sweet. I thought it was a great album, but it wasn't the Tortured Poets department. And I think having Sabrina Carpenter on a song on Life of a Showgirl just finalizes, you know, solidifies my point. I think she watched Sabrina Carpenter on that stage at the Grammys last year, and it put into her head that this is who she has to be. And I think it's important for us as an audience to just allow this woman to do whatever she wants. This album included, I'm not at all saying that this album shouldn't have been written. I think that this is a moment in her life, another era, where this is how she's feeling and this is just how the work came out. But I don't think it doesn't, to me, it's not her. It's not a Taylor album. And I think I want to end with a point that my mom had brought up because we were dissecting all of this together. And she said that Taylor Swift is such a pioneer of everything. She has the opportunity to make it okay for women to age in this industry. Instead of, you know, trying to fit the younger mold, I think she has a unique opportunity to push the envelope a little bit, and as she ages and as her fans age with her, to say, no, I'm growing, I'm aging, my music's maturing, we're maturing together, we're entering different stages of our lives, and really, you know, make it fine for women to age, which I know is a hot button thing to imagine.
The Life of a Showgirl. Wow, great title. A feature with Sabrina, the girl you're copying poorly. Oh my god, so smart. No one will suspect a thing. Wood. Like Travis's dingling. Awesome, very hot. Shellback? Yeah, you sound great. Yeah, attack Charlie XCX, whom everybody loves. You're so smart. Actually romantic, what a great take, everyone will agree with. Awkwardly gesturing at sexuality, such good idea. Yeah, everybody sees you as a sex pot. You sound so horny, great job. Curse words sound really great from you. Pay Rolling Stone for a 5-star review they're going to regret. Genius. Oh yeah, good pop music comes from spite. How about something upbeat? No, slow, boring? Okay, yeah, Taylor, great idea. I saw your lyrics and I made beats with the same amount of effort. Hey, you're doing great. More self-centered? Oh, so great idea. Yeah, song about all your friends being cancelled. Great idea, so great. Billionaire with dollar signs in song title. Very relatable. Still singing about prom in your 30s. So cool. Age appropriate. So not cool. Yeah, see you next time. Good luck.
Taylor Swift has inflicted immense damage on the black community by stripping Michael Jackson at his 6th sense to rest the fucking peace. She sampled the Jackson 5, and in the song that she sampled, she made it overly talk about her boyfriend's pink crusty pogo stick. One thing I'll say to defend the girl, y'all can't get mad. This is the most public and longest relationship she's ever been, because usually she got them legs split the fuck up in the 3rd week. Actually, Taylor Swift has always wanted to do pop and never wanted to do country, but her and her parents said that to be a white pop star at that time, she had to be too promiscuous. Now speed it up 10 years later, she done laid her ass down with 10 men to make 10 albums. At the brisk age of 20, allegedly Olivia Rodrigo made a song that she was inspired by Taylor Swift, and she was open about it. Allegedly, behind the scenes, Taylor Swift and her scene bullied that little girl to the point where she gave her 50% royalties on that song. So what the fuck made your karaoke night at the Ravine ass think you could come touch some black media and not credit? I hope the Jackson Estate hit your ass so hard they sue you for the S at the beginning of the Swift. We gonna call you Taylor Whiff, because I'm smelling other people's nachos. This shit came out and said this specific body of work her and her team put a whole bunch of mind and body and thought into. Bitch, you are over here making a mockery out of dead people's music. You need to sit the fuck down.
World to me to have this creative experience where like we knew that we had to bring the best ideas we've ever had.
Yeah.
And I also know the pressure I'm putting on this record by saying that, but I don't care because I love it that much. And there's not other ones coming. This is the record I've been wanting to make for a very long time.
Y'all don't get it. Taylor Swift is a heartbreak bitch. She thinks real hard when she's heartbroken. She ain't been heartbroken in a long time, which is fine. I'm happy for her. And I get it. Times are tough right now. We really don't need no heartbreak music, but I promise you, Taylor Swift, we don't need no music about your man's P9 either. Taylor Swift is the female Jacquees. Girl, you have your might have been drunk ass on here trying to diss Charlie XCX on a hot mess. Sound like an audition for the Mean Girls musical.
Life of a Showgirl. Okay. I can't stand that artist or her fans, but I kept seeing these videos of the analysis and I couldn't help myself, so I'm going to go over the first 2 songs of the album Life of a Showgirl from a spiritual perspective. As someone who works with the primordial and divine feminine, and that is the main focus of my spiritual practice as a witch. As you can see, I made notes. Let's start with the fate of Ophelia, because if I didn't know any better, I'd say that this is a Shmidia Sam slave's letter to her master, without any poetic ability or academic literacy at all. I mean, let's be honest, trad wives are living their religious power dynamic schmink 24/7 anyway. Spiritually speaking, this reads to me like not just as kindred spirits, but that she considers herself anointed by him. Being with him elevates her, not just on an emotional or financial level, but spiritually as well. She almost feels a release or an awakening. This song is insane. Really, she talks about how he lights the match just to watch it blow, but his fire illuminated her sky. The fire he creates in his relationships just to kind of see what happens, because he's an emotional terrorist, turned her on. She felt like, oh, this person can match my freak. It illuminated the darkness inside of her, in a way that saves her from feeling dead inside, and so that she doesn't have to do any of the work. Basically, this guy is just as messed up as her, and if she can make it work with him, if she can stick it out with him, then that proves to her and everybody else that she is not defective. And it also helps her level up on the path, right? The path of life and spiritual growth in a way that allows her to bypass what really is an inevitable ego death, and the shadow work that she knows she needs to do, but she can't sit alone with herself in silence long enough for a prolonged period to do it. Second song on the album, Elizabeth Taylor. Let's go. Babe, I would trade the Cartier for someone to trust. Just kidding. The Swifties think she's a good person. Anyway, the song is like 100% an ego that is like begging not to be crushed by a man that makes her feel special. Special and hopeful. And it's like vaguely hinting at the fragility of that ego. It pretends to be confident with the whole "my diamonds and lovers are forever" line, but that's essentially referencing how like all of her ex-lovers are part of what built her empire. Her empire has literally been built on the bones of men. And instead of seeing that as like, oh, kind of cringe, babe, she feels empowered by this. And then it flirts with vulnerability a little bit by saying that she would cry her eyes violet if this relationship with this current man is not forever. And then it like immediately backtracks by reminding us that she's actually the prize when she says like, been number one, never had number two. This is a prime example of the immature feminine within a relationship. Taylor's success at a young age, and let's be honest, her easily pleased fans, has like left her in this bubble of comfortability. And it never forced her to have to look at herself and ask if she was the problem. And instead she gets to blame it on the men in her life not being able to deal with her being such a successful woman. And that can be true a lot of times for women who are successful. Okay, I've been there. There are definitely some fragile men out there. This woman dated other celebrities, other very successful celebrities. Okay, and again, while that can be true for successful women, her voice thus far in this album reads as a girl who is desperate to be chosen and kept so that she can prove to everyone that she is not defective. The immature feminine postures, it points fingers, it performs for men, desires recognition for everything she does. Praise is her currency. Okay. And we can see that reflected in Taylor's literal bank account. I could only stomach these two songs at one time, but if you want me to make a part 2 and go through the full album, I'll do it for you, babe. I'll do it for you. Let's talk about it. So let me know in the comments. Thanks.
I watched the Taylor Swift movie last night, so you don't have to. Let's dive into it. Nobody asked for my opinion, but I'm about to give it to you. I actually have notes, like took notes. Let me start out by saying this. If you are over the age of 40, or if you, I'm going to probably piss people off when I say this, but if you're over the age of 40, or if you have any sort of upper level degree, this album is not going to be for you. And dare I say, Taylor Swift might have aged herself out with this one. At the start of the movie, she, right out of the gate, she starts off talking about that she likes alliteration, like father figure, as if we don't know what alliteration is. Maybe some people don't, I don't know, but she gives that as an example. And then she also talks about that there's a scene, she's talking about the filming of the movie or the video for Ophelia, and then this scene will look just like the cover art from the album, and people will be like, oh, I don't appreciate being spoken to like I'm 11. And then it occurred to me that I think that that's who she is actually speaking to, is the 11-year-olds. And I will say, like, my daughter is 14 and she likes this album. She's into it. And I remember what it was like to be 14. Your favorite artist dropped an album. In the grand scheme of things, 14-year-olds haven't had a lot of their favorite artists drop albums. So it's new and it's fresh and it's exciting. I completely remember that feeling, and I get it. And I feel like us as the older generation of Taylor Swift fans, and I say Taylor Swift fans because I don't consider myself a Swiftie. I don't. I like her just fine, but I don't necessarily consider myself a Swiftie. So I would say, as older Taylor Swift fans who do, like, I do enjoy her music, I do enjoy what she puts out, this one, I think, this is not meant for us. This is we've aged out. I will also say, so in the movie, she gives us the lyrics for a number of the songs. She gives us the PG lyrics for Father Figure, for Wood, which that's a whole other thing. But anyway, she gives us the PG lyrics. I like them better. My friend and I were there with our daughters and we were watching the movie, and we all agree that the PG lyrics felt better. They actually felt elevated. Then I had this thought, like, okay, I wonder if Taylor Swift had the PG lyrics written and then Travis was like, no, you need to sound tougher, you need to have more locker room talk, you need to be a little bit heavier. We went from baddest to bad bitch, or we went from my checks bigger to my checks bigger just sounds cooler, honestly. It just sounded better. Her forcing a lot, and again, she's a 35-year-old woman. This woman is closer to 40 than she is 18. So I'm assuming that she has sex, and I'm assuming that she cusses. But the forced cussing in the album is very much like, I actually do cuss a little. Like, Queen, we know. It just feels trite. The next one is sitting there listening to the lyrics to Canceled. I am getting the vibe that her and Blake maybe are not actually on the outs. Maybe they're not. Maybe they have just taken a hiatus and kind of been in opposite realms. That's just my take on that. I was actually really kind of hoping for a Blake, you broke my heart, how dare you kind of track. But then, honestly, I will also say that, what is it, that romantic song? It feels Mean Girl High School. It just feels, Taylor Swift is a grown-ass adult. Why are we still holding grudges and beef? Why are we pissed off about stuff like that? It just seems so catty and immature that it's just, I don't know. I really don't know. And forgive me, I don't remember which song that she was talking about, but she was talking about, maybe it was Ruin the Friendship. I think that's what it was, where she's talking, like, waxing poetic about high school. And in her interview, she says, I used to write about high school a lot, but I haven't really anymore. Because you're a grown fucking woman. You haven't been in high school in over 20 years. No, you're not going to write about high school anymore. No, you're not going to, because that's not a timely experience any longer, unless you are trying to relate to the kids that are in high school now, or the middle school kids that are going to high school. But me, as nearly a 50-year-old woman, I don't want to hear about what you felt like in high school. It's just, no. I'm going to want music that's more relatable to me as a grown woman. So that's where I'm saying that maybe Taylor Swift has now we've aged out of the Taylor Swift bracket. I actually got into a discussion one time with my best friend, and it's been probably about a year ago now, where I was talking about how I prefer Adele over Taylor Swift. And again, both women can exist in this universe. Both of them are singer-songwriter powerhouses. Both of them have a place. So I'm not saying that there is like, if one were to win over another. I just happen to prefer Adele more than Taylor Swift. And the reasons that I cited are holding true in this album alone. Adele has been a 40-year-old grown woman since she was 18. Like, she just comes out and she knows stuff. She knows. She has lived a life. And Taylor was just very kind of like high schooly, poppy, like kind of thing. I feel like Taylor kind of evolved and grew a little bit. It gave us a little bit more meat. It gave us a little bit more grown woman. And gave us, I'm growing up with you. Here's a little bit more meat. And now we have just slided right back into high school drama bullshit. And I'm just kind of over it. I'm also really over her at this point. She used to be cute and relatable and endearing, and now I think that she is just kind of, I'm not in a place where I can relate or understand her. And this was really evident in her recent appearance on the Graham Norton show. If you haven't seen it, I suggest that you go see it. Cillian Murphy is me in this situation. Like, he's sitting next to her on the couch and could give 0 fucks. He is not into it, which is usually his general demeanor anyway. He is my spirit animal, so I totally get it. But like in this situation, when she's talking about her wedding, you can tell he could give a shit. In that interview, Graham is asking her about her engagement and her wedding and all of this stuff. She says something to the effect of that one of the biggest problems with weddings is just like not knowing who to invite, or not knowing, like, if you're on the bubble, do you invite them? Do you not invite them? How she is just going to invite every single person that she knows. Tell me you're a billionaire without telling me you're a billionaire. Most people have those bubbles because they have a fucking budget. They can't afford to invite every person that they've ever wanted to. They just can't. And so they do have to make lines in the sand. And for her to just come on and be so, like, ignorant about that is really, again, tell me you're a billionaire without telling me you're a billionaire. She's just going to invite every single person she's ever spoken to. I don't know. The whole thing, again, I'm almost 50, and so I have no business putting my thoughts on any of this jazz. And I will say, like I said, my 14-year-old daughter loves the albums. But anyway, hopefully I saved you $15 and you don't have to go see the movie now. I don't really know. My thoughts. What are yours?
Satire requires a clarity of purpose and target, lest it be mistaken for and contribute to that which it means to criticize. You could go to an Auntie Anne's pretzel, defecate in your jorts, and call it a bold commentary on untreated IBS, but to the average onlooker, that is not satire. That is just a man who shit himself in the mall.
No, because this is what wish list sounds like to me. I just want you. Have a couple kids, have the whole block looking like your cheating ass. You're fucking everybody on the cul-de-sac like you.
It has been 2 days and this greedy racist bitch done put out 28 variants of the same album. You're out here selling diamond encrusted racism embodiments, but I digress. Let's look at what you can get if you're a Taylor Swift fan and you want to buy one of these variants. Off the bat, I need a Swiftie to comment and let me know what is sweat and vanilla. Usually when somebody sweats, that means they put their hard working time into it and blood and tears and all that, and I haven't seen none of it or heard none of it. And that don't matter if you heard of it, because she gonna say that shit to you 4 times. Ding, 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 ding. We have the Rapturous, Frightening Bug Edition, cassette tapes, and then the way y'all talking about, she said it's a joke, she said it's satirical. Bitches don't put out 28 versions of a joke. This is Golden Corral waiting music, and y'all over here really trying to hype this up. She talking about some hand sign. Y'all really think that little girl sitting there hand signing all them things? Like I said, she can sell a tape. Either on your fingertips you have bunions and corns from signing all them papers and you give a mean hand job, or your ass is over here fucking lying. We know you ain't picked nothing up in these last 24 hours but some red wood. In my opinion, especially in times like this where everything's expensive as hell, you're selling 28 variations of an album for maximum price. Not a discount, not no codes. Unless I'm making a mistake, somebody call me and let me know. But this is not the life of a showgirl. This is the life of greediness. You usually are very gluttonous when it comes to the unseasoned chicken man, bitch, but you done found yourself some lightweight white chocolate, so now you're trying to cut the fuck up. And as an honorary black person living in this society, I'm not playing that shit in my house because you're sending all these shots at this young black woman that did nothing to you. She said she's scared to go look at her own Instagram comments. And your fucked up ass response is, this is the life of a showgirl. Oh, we put so much thought and ideas behind this. Did you think about how it would affect other people? Did you look at what any of your double-sided wordings mean or what they mirror, or are you just saying that? I don't know. Y'all come to let me know what you think. I think it's very weird that she's selling 28 versions of this same album.
I'm about to be the friend that's too woke. Opalite made me feel nasty inside. I've seen people talk about Taylor punching down on this album in reference to like the whole Charlie XCX song, but I haven't seen anybody talk about it in terms of Opalite. And I just couldn't think of anything else when listening to the song because for me personally, I became familiar with Travis Kelce as the white football player who only dates black women. And then he started dating Taylor Swift and now they're engaged, so like that's not the case. But there's a verse on this song, Opalite, where she's referring to one of his last relationships. And I'm like, oh, maybe not doing that. Maybe not referring to a black woman that he used to date in absentia. You as the most famous pop star in the world who is also a thin, wealthy white woman. This is the verse. You couldn't understand it, why you felt alone. You were in it for real, she was in her phone, and you were just a pose. And don't we try to love, give it all we got? You finally left the table, and what a simple thought. You're starving till you're not. Well, it would be one thing if he had been only in like private relationships and people didn't know who any of his past exes were. But he literally was like on a dating show, and also he was kind of everywhere with his last ex-girlfriend, Kayla Nicole, who I think is mainly known for being Travis Kelce's girlfriend before he started dating Taylor Swift. So I was listening to that song and I was like, what's the necessity to talk about his exes and how he was like not understanding why his relationships weren't working when he was giving it all he had, when you could just talk about yourself? I don't know, like we don't exist in vacuums. Like there's everything that we do, all the interpersonal relationships that we have are impacted by the politics of the world that we live in. And I think the main problem that I have with the verse is that it sets up his ex as the problem when there could have been any other number of issues in their relationship. But the idea is like, oh, you're starving till you're not. I was the food that you needed to feed yourself and finally feel full. And she was too busy in that phone. Like she wasn't enough for you. I don't know. It's kind of like weird and gloaty. And this is where the really too woke part comes in, because I started to think about the color imagery in the chorus and I was like, girl. So after she says that thing about how Travis's ex wasn't enough for him, you know, you're starving till you're not, whatever. The chorus is, and that's when I told you, it's all right. You were dancing through the lightning strikes, sleepless in the onyx night, but now the sky is opalite. Oh my lord, never made anyone like you before. You had to make your own sunshine, but now the sky is opalite. Which is this kind of weird mixed metaphor about like the darkness of the night, which was both of their like respective past relationships, and now that they've made each other the way that like people make opalite, because opalite is a man-made stone. They're in the sunrise / sun. It's a weird metaphor. But I'll just say this. The phrase, the sun never sets on the English Empire, wasn't just impactful because it brought to mind the literal fact that like the English Empire spanned the entire globe, right? The sun would literally never set on it. It was also because of the insinuation that through bringing their whiteness to these places that they were colonizing, the English Empire was bringing light to the darkness. The onyx night, if you will. I just think that is a crazy metaphor to have in a song where you are obliquely referencing the black ex-partner of your current fiance. I feel especially off-put by like a need that some people have to like almost be like, oh, I'm better for you than your ex, or I'm better than your ex, or just like insinuate like the ghost of the ex is always in the room with us. It makes me wonder if there is like a weird sense of gratification and like joy that comes in the fact that like, oh, he spent his whole career dating all of these black women and he thought he was going to end up with one of them, but no, it's me and I can't wait to give him some white babies. And this is not something that is like exclusive to Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, right? This is an entire archetype of white person / white couple. And I say this as someone who has had experience dating people outside of my race and being left for a white woman. Because of that experience, I was listening to this song and the only thing that I could think about after that verse was Kayla. You were with this man for 4.5, 5 years, right? And then after you break up, not only do you have to keep seeing him because he's like one of the most famous football players in the country, but then he starts dating the most famous pop star in the world. And you have to watch everyone celebrate the fact that he has started dating the most famous pop star in the world. And there's this underlying implication that part of the reason that that relationship is good and worth celebrating is because she has saved him from Black women that he was previously interested in. And this is an archetype of man, right? The white man who dates Black women until he's ready to settle down and procreate, and then all of a sudden he pulls a white girlfriend out of his ass. There's a season 1 episode of Law & Order SVU about this. Like, this is a tale as old as time. But there was just something about that verse being included on the song that felt almost like being a sore winner or kind of like punching down to me. And I was like, oh, I don't like this. Which is sad because everyone that I know, like a lot of people that I know, they're like, yeah, the album sucks, but this is my favorite song on it. And I'm like, well, I'm Black and traumatized, so that's not the case. I just find it kind of like sad and also embarrassing. Like, why do you have to compare yourself to this woman who is not with this man anymore? And who clearly there was something wrong in their relationship, even if it wasn't just that she was in her phone, but like, they're not together anymore for a reason. Why are you writing about her? You could have just not done that.
All right, the jig is up. Delete ChatGPT, delete Sora, delete any AI apps you have on your phone. Stop your support now. You need to understand something. Pandora's box is 99% of the way opened. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with the myth, but once it opens, it cannot close. Oh my God, it's so funny. Jake Paul doing gay makeup tutorials. They're making child porn. People are making child pornography. That is nigh indistinguishable from reality. You are going to be framed for something you did not do. It's gonna happen. We can't stop them from developing it. But what we can do is stop feeding them the money they need to do it. It's over. You want to be a creative? Sorry. That field has been replaced. Computer software, fucking forget it. That's already cooked, over, and done with. 3D rendering, artist direction, architecture. Do you understand that you are being replaced? You, all of us, are being replaced. The functions that make us human are being robbed from us.
They told you that AICHARK was continuing Charlie Kirk's legacy, and the truth is she's not. Right when Charlie started questioning a specific nation, they took him out. Almost like they just wiped it away, because he was getting too close to the truth. AICHARK, the grieving widow who never once smudged her dark eyeshadow, now says the show will go on, and she forgives him. She forgives the man who we know isn't even probably the guy. And guess what? Her father worked for Raytheon's Israeli division. This isn't Charlie's legacy. And here's what we're not supposed to talk about. There is no coroner's report, no church funeral, no burial site, no official autopsy, no ballistics report, and no death certificate. The entire crime scene was destroyed, evidence erased, a private jet radar off 12 minutes away, 20 minutes after Charlie was unalived, and the weapon was found on land owned by Palantir. Kash Patel fired multiple heads of the FBI in that region days before September 10th. But sure, AICHARK is so strong on podcasts, leaving her kids with a nanny after they watched their father's life be taken. And just 48 hours after Charlie's assassination, they marketed your grief for money and power. They turned this man's life being taken into a business and called it legacy.
They tried to do Taylor Swift Mean Girl. They tried to do Taylor Swift Racist. They tried to do Taylor Swift MAGA Barbie.
Yeah, so the trivialization of what Black women have to say about virtually anything angers me deeply, right? But it is especially angering and concerning when it comes from worldly people like the Swiftologist, who are also prideful in the fact that they are critical, period. I don't understand how you can truly feel a sense of pride in being like capable of parsing through things that people look as solids and say, actually, there's many moving parts to this. And that's a skill that's specifically relevant to the art of artistic critique. And so when I see people who review music, people who review films be completely dismissive of racial undertones in virtually anything, it is really fucking weird to me. And let me preface this by saying, I don't give a fuck how many albums Taylor Swift sells. I, in fact, believe that a healthy music industry is good for any artist, right? However, when it comes from a fandom who basically experiences religious psychosis anytime Taylor Swift does anything, right? I saw comments of her on Jimmy Fallon, and people were losing their minds being like, what do the exit signs mean that she's sitting behind? What do they mean? So when a fandom, primarily of white people, that is known for looking and Nancy Drewing at everything this woman does with a magnifying glass because she has trained them to do so, because there is validity to what they think and feel, are telling a large group of people of color, specifically Black women, that thing you're looking into, you're looking at way too deep, babe. It's not that deep. Throw the whole thing away, right? If this woman is known for breadcrumbing, then don't you think that she would do that in pretty much everything that she does? And don't you think that somebody that has trained themselves to breadcrumb their fandom is also capable of doing it about other things without knowing? Because here's the thing about racism. When it's in your body, you have to let the air out of the tire somehow. And this might just be Taylor's way of doing it. I'm not saying that she's a horrible, heinous, racist person. I am saying that it is extremely bizarre for a large group of people who is known to look at things with maybe virtually no deeper meaning and assign deeper meaning to them because of one person who is creating these things. It's weird for them to just be like, no, that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. And also, it is fucking strange and anti-Black, or at least has anti-Black undertones, for the most famous white woman in the world to completely do this at what is essentially Black language, Black culture, via saying, I'm not a bad bitch and this isn't savage. I'm just a girl that's in love with this white man who's on the team and I want to breed and get married. Especially at a time like this. And so it is, as somebody that enjoys the Swiftologist takes on virtually anything, I am, and also that has learned that the Swiftologist is not even an American, right? I find it to be so disheartening when he picks and chooses, and when anybody with a well-trained critical eye picks and chooses what to be critical about because it's simply too dangerous for the narrative that your fave is completely problem-free. And again, I don't think he thinks Taylor Swift is problem-free. He talks about her consistently, sometimes in a negative light, which is good. So I am confused as to why this is something that he's trivializing as like, the Taylor haters tried to call her a racist. It's like, well, maybe, but also there is a genuine subset of Taylor Swift fans who is Black and who has genuine concerns about the things that she's saying in this album. So fuck y'all.
I don't think Actually Romantic is about Charlie XCX. I think that you guys are all assuming that it is about her based on one context clue, which is our white sniff sniff Coca-Cola. Newsflash, everybody in the entertainment industry does that stuff. Not just Charlie and her friends. And I'm pretty sure Charlie can handle hers, and she's more of a like, I'm gonna go to the club and party kind of girl. She's not giving so much of a shit-talking vibe. I don't know. Do you guys really think that Charlie XCX is walking around talking shit about Taylor Swift? I just don't think so. I wouldn't, however, be surprised if this song was about Margaret Qualley. Every time I see a video of Taylor with her around, Margaret is somewhere around her giving, I absolutely hate this bitch and I can't stand her and I'm jealous of her and she's on my nerves and why is everybody obsessed with her and why don't people pay attention to me as much?
Like, there's just no beef between Taylor and Charlie. I don't see it anywhere. Charlie very seriously seems like she's over the industry girl competition bullshit. It's So Confusing is a really good example of that. And I just don't think that she would put that song out and then turn around and talk shit about another girl in the industry. I encourage you guys to go find some videos of Margaret around Taylor and watch her mean girl, bitch-ass behavior. It's kind of subtle, but if you're a girl, you know about that. You know what it is. Also, when was the last time we saw Taylor hanging with her bestie Jack Antonoff? Her loyal producer BFF is nowhere to be found recently. Wonder why. Anyways, I think you guys are making something out of nothing between Taylor and Charlie, and I think you need to look in other places.
Does Margaret Qualley hate Taylor Swift? And I'm not even asking this in a rhetorical way. Like, I literally think she hates her. Obviously, besides the fact that Taylor Swift, like, ruined her wedding by summoning legions of Tavis Nation, which is basically an infection, a viral infection in human form, to her wedding, and essentially wearing white. She also, like, seeing them interact is so weird. It seems like Margaret is, like, easily annoyed at her, but also Taylor Swift is, like, not vibing with her either. And I only noticed this because on the Travis and Taylor Reddit page, where it's like a snark page where they all, like, pretty much hate Taylor Swift, somebody posted this video of Margaret Qualley looking at Taylor Swift dancing and then whispering into Jack Antonoff's ear, and then they both laugh. This is the video for receipts. You can see that her and Jack Antonoff are just generally annoyed though. They're putting in earplugs, but she's like about to like stare at Taylor in like a weird way. She's just like looking at her like judging, and then I guess they kiki laugh at her, and Taylor's like so in her own world. Obviously this is a Cochlear evidence, so she's not noticing any of this hate coming from her circle. But also, if you remember a while back from the Grammys, people were accusing Taylor Swift of being autistic because of her interaction with Sabrina Carpenter and Margaret Qualley. And then people who love Taylor Swift like will die on the cross for her. We're like, oh my god, she's so awkward, she's so me, she doesn't know what to do when your bestie leaves the circle. And it's like, no, I think she doesn't know what to do when there's a hater in the circle. So this is when she got accused of having autism. I'm not really accused, it's just... So she only really talks to Sabrina Carpenter, and Margaret Qualley only really, like, interacts with Sabrina. And look, she even, like, makes a physical barrier between her and Taylor with her hair. When Sabrina goes, she's like, oh. She doesn't even try to attempt to talk to Margaret Qualley. And Qualley just keeps on doing that physical block. So Taylor is forced to kind of turn around and start talking to Sabrina. Even Sabrina's like, girl, enough. She was obviously like fielding a lot of people. And then Margaret, she also blocks Taylor and Sabrina's convo from proceeding. And you could even see Taylor's face. Now she's like, fuck this girl. They both don't like each other, and I just want to know why. Like, what's the beef besides the whole wedding thing? I mean, Taylor's probably like, I can't control that I, like, infected a bunch of people with some weird virus that they're obsessed with me. And Margaret's probably like, yeah, but you egged that on, so why'd you do that at my wedding? I don't know, but Lana Del Rey for sure wore white at their wedding. And Taylor at least wore baby blue. That's not to say that Taylor wouldn't wear white to your wedding. Like, that's who she is. Like, that's fine. But, you know, she's not some sort of... She would never do that. She did that. Oh my god, I love this psycho ass.
So there's a new theory going viral, and honestly, it kind of makes sense. Fans believe Margaret Qualley might have been the one who spilled all the secrets to Taylor Swift about what Charlie XCX allegedly said behind her back. Here's the tea. Margaret is married to Jack Antonoff, Taylor's closest collaborator, but she's also super tight with Charlie. There are tons of pictures of her hanging out with both of them, so yeah, she was right in the middle. Then Taylor drops lyrics mentioning things only someone very close to Charlie could have known. I mean, give Margaret 2 glasses of champagne and the tea might have just poured itself. But that's not all. Some fans think it could have been Lorde. Remember that chaotic post-Grammy party where everyone ate pasta with their hands? Lorde was there with Charlie, and Taylor later references that exact moment in a song. Coincidence? Maybe not. And then there's the biggest twist. Some people suspect Jack Antonoff himself. He and Taylor work together non-stop, so what if he accidentally let something slip during one of their late night sessions? So, what do you think? Who's the real tattletale here? Margaret, Lorde, or Jack? Let me know in the comments because this mystery just keeps getting spicier.
So Taylor Swift's upcoming album, The Life of a Showgirl, is the first album of hers in 10 years not to feature any songwriting or production by Taylor's frequent collaborator, Jack Antonoff. Do we think he's okay with that? I ask because when his wife, Margaret Qualley, was asked about the album on the Today Show, she was very strange about it.
Your husband, Jack, of course, has produced with Taylor for years. Perhaps you heard she's got a new album that's coming out. Can you tell us anything about it?
I don't know anything, but we'll all be excited to listen to the music.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Thank you, Margaret Qualley.
Margaret was acting like she'd never even met Taylor in her life before, and like the question was so strange. She and Taylor are very familiar with one another. The Swifties basically shut down Margaret's wedding to Jack because Taylor was there, and Taylor gave a 15-minute long roast of Jack at your wedding, and she made what was a throwaway end of interview question into some really weird, awkward moment. But then again, I've heard that Margaret is generally quite a crotchety character. I mean, look at her face at Lana Del Rey's wedding when everyone else is brimming with joy. And then I was thinking about the fact that Jack also produced Sabrina Carpenter's latest album, Anne's Best Friend, which was fine, but not as good as Short and Sweet. And in his caption promoting the album, he said, SC, Sabrina is the future. We know how Taylor can be when it comes to girls who are the future. I mean, she's even said it in Anti-Hero, feeling like she's a monster on a hill amongst all these babies. So I did think that that was an interesting choice of words. I, for one, am very pleased that Taylor has decided not to include Jack on this album, not because I don't like Jack, he is technically excellent, otherwise he wouldn't get all the work that he gets, but he kind of makes everything really tasteful in a way that I find sometimes boring. Pop music, I feel, is just too Jack Antonoff flavoured in general. He's produced my least favourite Taylor albums, Tortured Poets and Midnight, and he also recently produced my least favourite Doja Cat album, which came out recently, V. So I don't think it's any coincidence that Taylor's been shouting that he is not involved in this album to show us that she's bringing some bangers back, which is what we need. And it's what Jack sadly cannot or will not provide.
I feel like they got together because he didn't care that she's Taylor Swift, and then they broke up because he doesn't care that she's Taylor Swift.
What's the difference between these two photos of Taylor Swift? Well, I'll tell you. The irony here is that this is Taylor reacting 2 separate times on the topic about how the NFL shows her too many times during a broadcast. Well, according to Brads and Chads, of course. The left is Taylor Swift's reaction after Joe Coy at the Golden Globes said that after a doubleheader, the only difference between the NFL and the Golden Globes is that the Golden Globes show Taylor Swift fewer times. The right is Taylor's response to Trevor Noah saying he thinks it's so unfair and it's BS that she gets shit and she doesn't control the cameras of the game. I'm so distracted because I'm watching SZA's performance and this video is taking me forever to make, but oh my god, she's so fucking good. And if you're seeing this before, she's gonna win Best Album. And if you're seeing this after, can you believe she won Best Album? No, obviously she did. Anyway, back to Taylor and Trevor. Here is the interaction.
So this is kind of awkward because Taylor Swift, Margaret Qualley, Jack Antonoff. Taylor and Jack have worked together on albums in the past, but it was announced for Life of the Showgirl that Jack Antonoff was not involved at all, and she's going to be working with Max Martin and Shellback. But Margaret was just doing a recent interview, and...
You mentioned your husband, Jack, who, of course, has produced with Taylor for years. Perhaps you heard she's got a new album that's coming out. Can you tell us anything about it?
I don't know anything, but we'll all be excited to listen to the music.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Oh boy, did I see some body language that we need to discuss. Mr. Taylor, he was at the Grammys and Sabrina Carpenter was there, and now Taylor's best friend that the powers that be are putting in the same orbit, Margaret Qualley, because her husband, Jack Antonoff, who, in my opinion, he might be very talented, but looks-wise, Sabrina Carpenter is flitting around, and she's thanking this person, saying hi to this person, doing all this. Taylor is such a, do the youngins say pick me? Because it's like, hi, Do you see me? Do you see me? Like trying to do some funny bits. I'm feeling great about the whole thing just from our data. You got, I mean, Taylor is so over the top trying to sell Sabrina. So my question is, what does Taylor have besides her and Jack being collaborating together? Is Taylor Sabrina's new manager, producer, something? Taylor's getting some sort of payout here. Do you know what it is? I don't. There's something there. She wouldn't be going so over the top and looking like such a nerd and a wannabe, like, please like me, if she wasn't trying so hard to sell Sabrina. Taylor is literally obsessed. Like, where did little bit go? Why did she not hear my joke about the analytics department? Did she not? I'm so stilted. Where did that little girl go? Weird. Just from a casual observer, it looked like Sabrina was icing Taylor out, like, yeah, we heard you, now let me go, like, let me off the leash, let me go. And Taylor is wanting to be right there with her at all times. Then I gotta show you this. Y'all, Taylor and Margaret were the only two people dancing. That was no club. That was an awards ceremony. And everyone else, I want you to put yourself there, okay? Imagine it. Get in character. You're sitting there. You're Taylor Swift. And you're sitting there and everyone else around you is sitting down, listening, being respectful. You think, you know what? I'm going to get up and dance. They want to see this large person with pantyhose on in an ice skater outfit dancing. That's what they want. They want to see me dancing. She's trying to take attention away from everybody as if she is the queen of this whole thing. Even Beyonce sat down and didn't try to make it about her, even though she allegedly bought her award. But can you imagine the embarrassment that any normal person would feel if they accidentally got up to start dancing and no one else was? It would be like, oh, whoops. Sorry. Sorry, I'll sit back down. It's weird, y'all. It's weird. And no one is saying, they're all like, no one is saying how weird it is. Cutting through the illusion.
This is the greed that they talk about in the Bible. Because what do you mean? This is not even the full list of all the variants and versions of Taylor Swift's new album. According to my research, we are now on 30. Taylor, please, that number 1 is yours. You've got it already. If you're trying to break Adele's record, according to the calculations, you've already surpassed it in days. Undeserving, but hey, that's not why I'm here. Why for that? Everything about this era has just felt so tacky. I already gave my review on the album. It's not even worth all of this. If it was even a good album, I would say, okay, I hear it. but it's not a good album. I want to say her poor fans, but these same fans are the same ones that will go and buy this. Who the hell needs 28 plus versions of an album? Huh? As old clips resurface of Taylor Swift, I'm understanding that this is not someone that does this for the love of music at this point in her career. Maybe in the beginning she did, but at this point, it is just greed. Pure, undiluted greed. Oh, hell no. I don't want to hear y'all talk about Beyonce again. Keep your mouth room, because she would never. 28 versions of an album. 30. Huh? Soon, the number of variants will even equal her age. What? This is unacceptable. It's not right, and it's not okay. This is pure greed and rubbish.
That you can be both kind and cunt. For keeping me grounded, celebrating, and doing the dishes.
I've been wanting to say this since it happened. Do you remember when Taylor Swift stood up in the front row of Olivia Rodrigo's performance? Taylor knew the media would play it off like she was truly supporting Olivia. By standing up in the front row to cheer and loudly sing, this also hijacks Olivia's moment, making it about Taylor again. That was not her supporting Olivia, that was her intimidating Olivia. Don't forget, Taylor ended up with a writing credit on 3 of Olivia's songs on her debut album. In my opinion, she's not a friend, she's a bully.
I never thought I'd be thinking about Taylor Swift and the movie Showgirls in one sentence, but here we are.
I used to love Doggy Chow. I used to love Doggy Chow too.
Welcome back to Aisha's Video Club and my series A Movie a Day until 2026, and I'm talking about the very controversial and very explicit film Showgirls. We're introduced to a young, starry-eyed girl called Nomi, played by Elizabeth Barclay, who lands in Vegas and she wants to become a showgirl. But the top showgirl in town is played by Gina Gershwin, and her name is Crystal. Now, Crystal has like a weird love-hate relationship with Nomi. Low-key, I feel like she's in love with her, like it's giving lesbian, and I love that for the divas. But the strange thing is this film explores that relationship but also their rivalry, while most of the time they're just naked all the time. The first time I watched this, my jaw was on the floor. I was like, diva, this is insane. But then it's like a cult classic. And look, I'm not going to deny that this film is low-key kind of creepy. A lot of people criticize it for its bad acting because honestly, like Nomi is like overreacting all the time. Some people say it's satire, but how can it be satire with the ending now? And if you've seen the film, I pose this question to you. If it is satire and so bad, why did they include that scene with Molly in the end? Because honestly, that scene always shocks me. It is horrible. And I just think, how can this be like a satirical film when I feel like this is like a reality for women in that industry? Like, is it a weird masterpiece? Is it just bad representation? Or is it just a terrible film? I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. And what movie should I do next?
Here's what Taylor should have released instead. Her next move should have been to announce that she was retiring from music with a vulnerable and heartfelt message. Something like, I'm afraid I'm never going to be able to top my success, and I didn't want to tell you guys while I was doing it, but the Eras Tour is my last tour. Then, for the next year, we see Taylor actually not working. She's riding horses, she's hanging out with friends, she's traveling on vacation, maybe she's getting into watercolor. She's doing normal girl stuff of wedding planning, and she starts posting more and more aesthetic hype about her wedding. Maybe she even accidentally leaks the date when she posts the blurry clip of her wedding invites, and fans go nuts because now they know the date of her wedding. So fans are hyped, grassroots Swifties organize discography listening parties, and then that date comes, and we find out it's not her wedding date. She got married 6 months prior, but this is the day she drops a surprise album about the wedding experience. And it's a full return back to Taylor Swift's roots. Almost no production, just her and a guitar, and maybe even stuff that's a cappella. It will go on to define a new era of millennial and Gen Z wedding energy. There's Vows, a song about her promise to prioritize her love for her husband over her career. Barefoot, a song about how everyone was watching them during their first dance, but she felt like the only person in the room. Sunset, a song about what happens after the happily ever after, riding into the sunset. Whisper, a song about her wedding night, elevated, sultry, classic, romantic, and these words are banned. Then, she announces a single show in Las Vegas at the Sphere. It's a multi-sensory reprise of her discography, but refreshed with remixes and features on every single one of her major songs. She does a single night, and at the end of the show, a clock appears with a countdown. Turns out, Taylor is doing a permanent residency at the Sphere. And that's what Taylor should have done instead.
Breaking news.
Travis Kelce has reacted to a video that recently surfaced of Joe Alwyn. Joe Alwyn and actress Allison Oliver previously starred in a movie in 2022 called Conversations with Friends. Back then, rumors surfaced a lot. People were saying that Joe Alwyn and Allison Oliver were having an affair. A lot of people thought that the rumors were untrue because of how solid Taylor Swift and Joe seemed. When Taylor and Joe broke up in 2023, a lot of people looked back at these rumors. People thought because they seemed to be so perfect together that cheating must have happened, and it's the only way they would have broken up. As Taylor and Joe had been together for 7 years, it must have been something huge to make them want to break up with each other. And now, a leaked clip has surfaced from onset of the Conversations with Friends movie. In the clip, Joe and Allison are performing a raunchy scene. During this leaked clip, fans have said they can hear Joe Alwyn moaning Allison's name instead of her character's name, which is Frances. People were shocked and horrified by this. This is because people think it's confirmation that Joe was having an affair with her if he was moaning her real name. This has absolutely horrified fans, and people feel awful for Taylor to have to go through all of this, and people now think the cheating rumors are definitely true. And now, Travis Kelce seemed to have joined in.
Taylor Swift's ex-boyfriend Joe Alwyn is allegedly going to out her as a lesbian. If you've been keeping up with the blind items, you'll know that for the past decade, there have been blind items alleging that Taylor Swift is in fact a lesbian, but that she will never come out because her career is built off of singing about boys. And this would also confirm the allegations that her relationship with Travis Kelce is only for PR purposes. Whatever Joe is planning on coming out and saying about Taylor Swift is allegedly going to verify conspiracy theories and reveal a whole bunch of blind items. This blind item reads, the foreign-born actor, known to nearly everyone despite his A-/B+ list range, is about to cause major confusion, spark endless conspiracy chatter, and reveal a wave of long-held blind items waiting for this very moment. And the related headline reads, Taylor Swift makes surprise confession on her song about ex Joe Alwyn. Many people think that Taylor Swift's song The Black Dog is about her ex Joe Alwyn following their breakup. In the song, she mentions her ex forgetting to turn off their location after their breakup and seeing him walk into some bar called The Black Dog.